Book of Mormon is real, legitimate, and we do have archaeology to back it up. It's all over North America, particularly in the eastern half. So let me just make sure to do a quick check here. I got things that are working. Okay. Parallels in the Book of Mormon. That's my big key word. We can't, you really can't prove it. I mean, I could hold up an artifact and I know it's made from a Nephite, but I can't prove it, right? So we have to call them parallels. That's been my big thing all the way through. Parallel, parallel, parallel. And just to get us off, I want to remind you about our timeline, which is very important. The Hopewell, for me, are the key. If we take the Hopewell away, there is nobody that we can use to support the Book of Mormon archaeologically. There just is nobody. Nobody can match like these guys can match. And there you are. Of course, that's our timeline from the book. You can see how close it goes. And the best part about it all is, like I said, the non-Mormon archaeologists of the East, non-members of the church, they're the ones that have established this matching parallel. We didn't do that work. They did the work. It's all there. It's always been there. And I want to tell you that my life really changed in 1988. This is a guy who has become a real mentor for me, Dr. James Shares, University of Wisconsin-Madison. I have learned so much from Jim. Today, he can't go out in the field anymore, but mentally, he's sharp as a tack. I just talked to him 2 days before I came over here, and he was just calling to wish me well and what's going on. And this is my mentor. He's just been an awesome guy, awesome guy. I wish he could roll back his years. Gonna lose the guy, but anyway, let's just continue on here. Jim brought to me in 1988. He asked me, he came to my house in Lake Mills, Wisconsin. He said to me, he said, what do you know about the Michigan artifacts? And I said, never heard of it. No idea. He said, how about Michigan relics? Nope, haven't heard that either. How about Soper Savage collection? I said, nope, haven't heard that either. He says, okay. He said, I want you to know that the church you belong to in Salt Lake City, they hold the largest collection of the Michigan relics. I said, okay, what are they? He begins to explain what these things are. And I was like, wow. I'm thinking, why aren't they on display? Well, man, I walked into a hot potato out there. It took me, I think, 4 or 5 years before I actually got to see the Michigan tablet collection. I was just going through all these channels through the church, and I was always getting a bum steer. Well, you got to see this guy on the 5th floor. You got to see this guy on the 7th floor. And I mean, I was up all over the tower building out there in Salt Lake. I couldn't find the right guy to get to, but eventually, of course, I did. But what I want you to keep in mind here, the first relics appear in 1846 in the U.S. Hang on to that. It's very important. 1846, United States of America, all right? And they were so numerous. I mean, they were everywhere. Estimates are conservative at 10,000. 10,000 artifacts, main state of Michigan. A lot of guys have got them up to as high as 30,000. 30,000, all over coming out of Michigan. Now, in 1919, this whole thing will kind of just fade away, but we're going to see some things before we get to that point. Here's something that's really interesting. I can know today, we can verify the Michigan artifacts were found in 27 counties. Now think about it. These are burial mounds, mostly cremated. Some bone matter is found, but there's always these little strange objects, usually plates, but also just some little doodahs, cups and bowls and things we don't know what they're for. Weapons, swords, axes, they all show up, and they all have that mystic symbol on them just probably about 98% of the time.